This episode was all about mysteries and answers, because right at the beginning, they posed a few questions that are going to be sitting with me for quite a while. But right at the end, they answered a bunch of questions that I've had for a long time. So, give and take. Give and take. Hey, this is an animated recap of Critical Role Season 3, Episode 7. So if you haven't seen that episode yet, there are going to be spoilers ahead immediately. So if you haven't seen it, you've been warned. All right, let's go. The two massive reveals that happened this episode, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, are one, hey, Robbie is in the opening credits now, in the opening sequence. That's pretty interesting for a guest character, huh? And two, we learn who Travis's new character is, and he has joined the party. So we're going to get to that later. Oh my goodness. As always, my name's Matthew Perkins from MatthewPerkins.net, and if you want to win a Critical Role Twitch subscription, then all you have to do is watch this video to the end, and there'll be some instructions for you. I give away one every week. Okay. So last episode finished at this place called the Dreamscape Theatre. This is a auditorium where people can come and perform, and it's pretty well renowned amongst artists. You'll recall that Annie, the half-orc, half-elf, wanted to perform here, and she's been practicing to do so. But the party, they bought tickets because they are investigating missing people. People who've been going missing here for a number of weeks, and they were tipped onto this fact from their patron, Lord Estros. So the previous episode finished with the party bribing their way into a box seat so they can see the performance from up there, but Dorian was pulled away briefly by someone that turned out to be his brother, and they had a brief argument. You can see the last episode to see what they talked about, but then Dorian came back to the box, and then we get to watch the performance. As the lights go dim and the curtains open, a half dozen singing acrobats come onto the stage and they start doing flips and flops and tumbles with a big seesaw apparatus. And Matt is rolling individually for each performance element until eventually he rolls badly and one of the performers falls and hurts themselves. And that means that after just half an hour of performing, now the show is over, so the curtains close and a half-elf man with a dark complexion, amber hair, and a pencil-thin mustache says, "Hey, the performance is over, guys. Everyone get out of here." And he specifies that there will be no refunds. Since the party are here to investigate these disappearances, they want to try and get backstage to get investigating. And they decide the best way to do that is to bluff this dragonborn usher into letting them backstage. Like they have, backstage passes. And they do a pretty good job. Like they lead really strong. Start strong, doesn't end strong, okay? Doesn't end strong because they fail to give a good name. They fail to have like a kind of cohesive direction for their lies, and they end up rolling with disadvantage. And the usher, a little bit suspicious, decides to go check with somebody else to say, hey, are these people allowed backstage? In the tradition of Dungeons and Dragons parties always doing like 4 plans at once, Lordna also uses thaumaturgy to make it sound like there's a fire backstage, like somebody yelling, fire, fire, and make the smoke appear, all this kind of stuff. And I know there's going to be somebody in the comments that complains and says, hey, that's not how thaumaturgy works. That's not how it's meant to work. They're doing the spell wrong. I don't care. They probably don't care either. It doesn't matter. Amidst this chaos, the party rolls stealth to sneak backstage, and they do okay. They do middle of the road. So when the party gets backstage, Fresh Cut Grass says, hey, I'm a healer bot, and I'm here to heal. And they end up casting Cure Wounds on the person that fell, the acrobat that hurt their back. Now, they also learn that the leader of this theatre troupe is named Kendra. This is a family organization, and they're kind of like a traveling performance. So they ask them, hey, Kendra, do you know anything about these disappearances? But they've only been performing here for about a week, so they don't know anything about it. Dorian has a look out to the stands to see, hey, can I see my brother out there? But no such luck, doesn't see him out there. With Orum's great perception, he looks out to the stands and he notices something very suspicious. He sees a patron standing there wearing a hood indoors, which is the fancy equivalent of wearing sunglasses indoors. Very edgy. So Lordna says, ooh, a spooky creeper, and they decide to follow this person. But unfortunately, they lose this person in the crowd once they get outside, and they have to return empty-handed. So that's a mystery that we don't get answered just yet this episode. Now, you recall that man that came out with the pencil-thin mustache and said, hey, everybody, get out of here, the show's over. They talk to this man. Turns out he runs the whole theatre. His name is Stuvan, right? And they're talking to Stuvan. They ask him, hey, what's up with all of these disappearances? And he lies to them. He says, oh, look, maybe people just didn't like the show and they decided to leave early, right? People do that all the time. But then quietly says to them, hey, come meet me in my office. And what's really fun here is that in his office, there's all these old playbills from old plays. There's one called The Calamity, an interpretive dance of Exandria's greatest catastrophe. And my favorite, here we go. To Kill a God, the Scanlan Shortholt one-man show. For those not in the know, Scanlan Shortholt was a character in Campaign 1 that Sam played. In his office, Stefan gives the party some proper information and says, well, yes, we have had disappearances and we don't know why, but I'm frustrated that nobody has answers because all eyes seem to be pointing to me. 3 weeks ago, our janitor, Usha, disappeared. He was a quiet halfling and he vanished. Then a week later, the Diamond Mask Troupe came through and a half-giant actor with them, Sino, disappeared. Now, the disappearances were noticed in intermissions or after the show, and then that same week, 2 patrons, Eden and Amir, disappeared from the same box that the party had been sitting in earlier. And then 1 week ago, a patron named Yarden vanished. And at this point, the wardens start to poke around, but they were very unhelpful with their investigation. But then 3 days ago, the bartender, Lindney, disappeared. So that means 6 people have disappeared over 3 weeks. Yeah, that's a mighty problem, my guy. So the party get permission to investigate and, move around the theatre freely, and they end up talking to Akembo, the stage manager, and get a tour of the theatre. The stage manager points out various areas in the theatre, saying, hey, there's backstage, there's front of house, there's the box seats, there's the storeroom, there's the rafters above the stage, there's a back alley, there's a rooftop, there's toilets, and the party decides to go down to the storeroom, and it's proper spooky and dimly lit in there. It's where they keep all the props and costumes from old plays. Now, Ashton looks around this area for holes in the wall where shade creepers might be coming in, but there's no such luck. Also, Fern steals a dress. Then the party goes to meet Tefta, who's the business manager of this whole operation, right? She handles the financials. She's a gnome with like a red kind of beehive haircut. I hate this gnome. Like, incredibly flirty, incredibly confronting. I don't know. I hate this character. So from Tefta, we learned something about all of the missing people, right? And there's going to be some hints here that maybe you'll be able to pick up, dear listener, because the players certainly did not. I'm going to read them from my notes. The janitor, Usha, was quiet and kept to himself. He was very diligent. He even cleaned outside the theatre. The half-giant performer, Sino, he had an argument with his acting troupe and then he left the theatre. Oh man, what's the theme here? The patrons in the box, Eden and Amir, came to the theatre to have an affair. Okay, that one doesn't tie into the joke that I was doing. Yarden, the patron, he was a drug dealer, and he was asked to deal drugs somewhere else that wasn't the theatre. Oh man, what could Matt have been trying to hint at to the players? The party kind of picks up half of what Matt is putting down, picks up half of it and says, look, there's probably somewhere private in the theatre that all of these people went, and at that location is where they're disappearing from. So we want to find where people go when they want privacy here. And they go to the toilet. They go to the toilets and they look in the bowl and like, there's crap in there. There's nobody here. There's no secret entrances. One of the party even suggests, look, maybe there's something that's attracted to people doing the hanky-panky, and we'll have to do the hanky-panky in order to summon this creature that's disappearing people, which of course is not the answer. That's not the answer. Aurum and Dorian even end up climbing the roof. But it's Fern and Freshcut Grass who come closest to actually getting correct direction here. They go to the box seat where the party was sitting earlier, and this is where that couple that was having an affair, Eden and Ymir, where they were sitting before they disappeared. And they investigate around, they find something scratched into the wood of the banister or something, and it's physically text, and it says, outside. It says outside. Clearly one is signaling to the other, let's meet outside. Meanwhile, Imogen is investigating in the alleyway at the back of this place, and she's walking around and she finds a spot in the alleyway that is extremely clean, which is a little bit interesting because if you think about it, the character, the janitor that would clean everywhere, including even places outside the theatre, he's been missing for 3 weeks. He was the first to disappear. So why is this place so clean? So she opens up her mind using her mind reading abilities to try and find somebody nearby. Is there somebody hiding? And instead what she gets is a presence, a static-like feeling. There's something there. She kind of calls out to the party. They all gather and they're investigating around this dead end. And then this massive eye opens between the brickwork, between the grout, and there's tentacles, and there's a gaping maw. My friend, it is a mimic wall. At this point, the cast takes a break as Matt sets up the battle map. And you know the rules. They take a break, we take a break. Now, if you're a fan of Critical Role, and I'm starting to suspect that might be the case, I've got a Discord channel where we can talk about the latest episodes live as they air. So there's a link down there in the description. I would love to see your face around there. It would be really fun. And if you're a Dungeon Master yourself, please check out my Patreon, because for $5 you get, hey, here's rules for having NPC allies with the party in a way that doesn't slow down the game. Or here's rules for having conversations in combat with mechanical benefits. And here's a Patreon exclusive podcast where I interview all other kinds of creators out there from YouTube. Latest episode is talking to Luna from the Luboffin YouTube channel, all about Critical Role. Now let's get back into the recap. At the start of combat, the entire party is surprised by the mimic, so it gets to go first and it gets just around to do whatever it wants. And we learn a lot about the way it works here. So it has tentacles that have a 15-foot range, and they will grapple you if they hit you with an attack. And it also has a bite attack that does a bunch of acid damage. And I'm willing to bet that if you are grappled and it tries to bite you, it probably does even more damage or has advantage. Aurum has a great moment where he yells out, "Hey!" and throws a dagger directly at the mimic's central eyeball with a goading attack, trying to draw its ire. Its ire from its eye. Now, this means that if it attacks anybody except Aurum, then it's going to have disadvantage. Imogen tries to blind it, which is a great idea, but fails. Fern uses her flaming monkey companion, Mister, to throw flaming monkey poos at it, which is beautiful. And the party rolls very badly throughout this whole combat. And a few of the characters get down to single-digit health. Very scary. Now, Dorian gets the killing blow with Chromatic Orb. He shoots out this sphere of lightning that goes underneath the eyelid of the creature and tears it apart from the inside, and it just gets absolutely eviscerated and slumps to the ground in just a goopy mess. After the fight, Fresh Cut Grass has my favorite line. He says, "We broke the fourth wall." The theater joke, it's a wall joke. What more could you want? It's so good. Behind the wall, they find the remain. Okay, I'm laughing, but it's grim now. I gotta put on my sad voice. Behind the wall, they find all the remains of the people that were digested by the mimic wall. by the fourth wall. So the stage manager comes around the corner and the party explains to them what happened. As part of their reward from the theater here, by the way, the party gets box seat membership to see shows, so they can come to the theater whenever they want. Isn't that lovely? But here's what really gets my goat here. They didn't put in a good word for their friend Annie, the half-orc who's been auditioning to come here and perform. Wouldn't that be nice if they had just said, "Hey, you could book our friend Annie, she's great. She plays the insert Annie's instrument here. I don't remember." As they're all talking in this alleyway in front of this dead creature, two wardens see the commotion and they come down to investigate, and they kind of take over the crime scene. Now, the party are a little bit worried that somebody might have created or put this wall here, this creature. Like, was it enchanted to be like this? So the party learns that there was some infrastructure work, some construction work done in this alleyway a few weeks ago, and it would have been overseen by an organization called the Treshy House Masons Guild. When they look around the alleyway, they do see some construction supplies, some bricks nearby, but I don't know. I'm unclear here on whether the construction workers had something to do with this, or they came to do work and then they were chomped on by the wall. I don't know yet. And when they're inspecting the body of this creature, Imogen finds like two half-orb devices that were kind of affixing the creature to each side of the wall, and she manages to take one without the guards noticing. But then we see something very mysterious. There's a mysterious figure leaning up against the wall, lit by moonlight in the alleyway, watching them. And it's not the same figure that Aurum and Laudna chased earlier. It's somebody different, somebody much shorter, okay? About Aurum's size. It's Travis's new character. It's his new character. Welcome, Travis. Merry Christmas. This is a gnome, 100 years old, wearing a cloak with tufts of grey hair, a beanie, and got that sinewy old man strength. You know that dad strength? Oof. So, this character's name is Chetney. This is Chetney, the gnomish rogue, Travis's new character, and Chetney is curious about the party's adventurous nature because he needs help finding a friend who he can't find. So the party invite Chetney, Travis, along with the party to the Spire by Fire to, have dinner and chat about what he needs. And that's where the episode ends. Woohoo! Dude, Travis is back. Travis is back. So let's you and I talk about this mystery with Robbie at the start of the episode in the intro and Travis's new character. And remember, if you want to win a Twitch subscription to the Critical Role YouTube channel, all you have to do is leave a comment down below telling me what you thought of the episode or whatever theories you have or whatever you want to talk about relating to this episode. But make sure to leave your Twitch name in the comment so I know who to gift it to. Everybody's been telling me comment after comment. I get half of you saying, hey, Robbie's a guest. He's going to leave real soon. And I get other people saying, but is Robbie really leaving? He seems like a full character. But everybody's saying, we don't want Robbie to leave. Well, I've been in the camp of, yes, Robbie will leave. Robbie will leave. He's a guest. But now I'm not sure again. I know I keep going back and forward on this because at the start, in this opening sequence that they've just filmed, and the production quality of this, by the way, phenomenal filming. The lighting, the set, they're like Indiana Jones adventurers peeling away cobwebs and investigating some kind of tomb. And it's like slow motion captures. Oh, it's really beautiful. Well done. New song. Love it. But there's like a second and a half, a little clip of Robbie in there with the party. Robbie is, he's got the lantern, he's got the hat, he's in the same set as everybody else. Now, if he were just a guest, would he be in the intro? Like, does that make sense? I don't know. But here's the other part. He wasn't in the cast shot at the end. Like the thumbnail of this video, that's from that opening sequence. And Robbie wasn't included in that lineup. Yeah. So maybe they're doing a thing where it's like, whenever they have a guest character, they will film like the 2 seconds that they'll need to plug into that section of the intro to show them. He's probably still a guest. I'm still in the Robbie's still a guest camp. Now Travis. Travis is playing this gnome who is based on somebody that he played in the Christmas one-shot. The Christmas one-shot ages ago. But previously the name of the character was Chutney. Chetney and Chutney, legally distinct. And Chutney is a character who canonically killed Santa, so I don't know what kind of problems this poses for Critical Role and Santa. Now, I didn't see that Christmas one-shot. I only watched the mainline campaigns. That's all I really have time for. So I don't know what to expect from this character, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to Travis playing another old man character. I just don't understand. Like, he was playing an old character with Bertrand. He had played Bertrand in a one-shot, and now he's playing an old character with Chetney. He played Chetney in a one-shot. Is Chetney going to meet the same fate as Bertrand, killed by a slimy dwarf in an alley like a dog? I don't know. Or is this Travis's forever character? So many questions. Hit me with your spicy takes about this episode. I want to hear all of them. And remember to leave your Twitch name in the comment if you want to win a Twitch subscription. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. My name is Matthew Perkins from MatthewPerkins.net. All these people down here, these are my patrons. Thank you so much for your support, patrons. If you click in the top right, hey, there's a video that YouTube thinks that you might like of mine. I wonder if it's right. Prove it wrong. Watch it. Give it a dislike. Oh wait, you can't give dislikes anymore. Ha 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 ha. And in the bottom right, you can see my friend Luna's video for some Critical Role conspiracies. This has been your recap, but she's got the conspiracies. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later.